Rockstar Gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Come on in. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments section where you are watching from.
Anyways, she put this thing being like, she saw this post practically just to like where someone was paying $400 a week for 2 kids.
Yeah.
$1,600 a month. And she was complaining, being like, that's ridiculous. So $200 a week for one child is ridiculous. For 40 hours a week of care, that's $5 an hour.
Right.
What do you want? People to watch children for free?
Right.
I'm sorry, there is a childcare crisis. Like, I do think childcare prices are astronomically high and people can't afford it. But it's also just like the people who are doing the childcare have to get paid.
No, I understand.
That sounds absurd.
Understand. Good Lord. Gotta love the wife, man. Gotta love the wives. Gotta love the wives. How's everyone doing tonight? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Welcome, man. We got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot to talk about. I'll tell you that much. I hope everyone is having a wonderful evening tonight. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream as always. Let me see. I'm just trying to see something on TikTok because TikTok is funny. It's funny like that. You know what I mean? Definitely don't want that. Appreciate you guys. We got 15 people in the building already. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, man. If you haven't seen it already, go down into the description of the live stream. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. Basically, we're going to talk about maybe a massive move that we can make in free agency. We're going to be talking about a high-impact pass rusher that I think we could key on in free agency. Talk about Cade Mays' backup plan could be there. What we should expect from Cade Mays at this point. Because honestly, I don't know because of his market value. We're going to talk about Jalen Coker and Bryce and Tremaine getting the tender contract. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about former wide receiver DJ Moore finding a new home. I don't know what it is about former Panthers finding their new home in Buffalo, but it just seems it's almost like it's nature at this point. It just feels like it's human nature at this point that former Carolina Panthers just find their way to the Buffalo Bills. Like, it just seems like that's how it always ends up. I don't know why that is. It's funny to me. I'll tell you that. But DJ Moore, let me pull it up real quick. Let me get to my profile. Let me pull up the post real quick here. All right, here we go. Shout out to everyone on the YouTube channel. Shout out to everyone on TikTok. Shout out to everyone on Twitch and, of course, Facebook. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to everyone on X as well. Again, do me a favor. If wherever you're at, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. I really wish DJ Moore would have came back home, but I'm glad he's getting back with Curtis Samuel. Absolutely. Again, it's just another former standout, man. It's on the move. Again, like DJ Moore was traded today and somewhat was a surprising deal. I think that, sends him from Chicago to Buffalo. The compensation is fairly straightforward. Buffalo gets DJ Moore and a 2026 fifth-round pick. And while the Chicago receives, a 2026 second-round selection. So, at the end of the day, it's not that kind of a blockbuster trade that shakes the entire league. But, it's still notable for a few reasons. Okay, especially for the Panthers fans, because first off, the trade was reported by Adam Scheffler, later confirmed by Tom Pelissero, and for Buffalo, this move is you're giving Josh Allen, another proven target. And for Chicago, it's about adding that valuable draft capital. And for DJ Moore, it might finally be an opportunity he's been waiting for, because this is easily the best situation he's probably had since entering the NFL. Moore's Carolina legacy still stands, but before the trade and roster reshuffles, Moore built his reputation in Carolina, right? We selected him first overall in that 2018 draft over 5 seasons, and he quietly became one of the most productive receivers in franchise history, right? You go look at his numbers in Carolina, it's over 364 receptions. He had over 5,200 yards and 21 touchdowns. The yardage total, which is crazy, still ranks him 4th all time in our franchise history. So Moore wasn't just productive. It was just how he was consistent, even while catching passes, especially from a revolving door quarterbacks. Same thing in Chicago. Caleb Williams, he only played with Caleb Williams 2 years. The first season he went to Chicago, it was Justin Fields and Tyson Bagent, or Bagent, or however you pronounce his last name. But his time in Carolina ended with when the Panthers made the biggest franchise decision in recent memory, which, of course, that trade changed everything. And everybody, of course, always talks about that domino effect of, that trade, right? Carolina traded Moore to Chicago as part of that massive package deal to move up to number 1 overall pick in that 2023 draft. That we picked, of course, Bryce Young. Everybody knows that. And at the time, Moore was actually in the middle of moving into a new house in Charlotte. Fun fact, if you didn't know that. He was actually moving into a new house in Charlotte when he received the call that he'd been traded. So it was one of the tougher departures probably in recent memory. The Bears, meanwhile, benefited in a big way. Not only did they land DJ Moore, but the draft capital from that trade eventually helped them secure the number 1 pick the following year, which they selected Caleb Williams as their quarterback. For a while, the trade looked extremely lopsided in Chicago's favor. But with how Young has shown signs of real progress in Carolina, the narrative may not be as one-sided as it once been seen, right? Carolina Blue 2024, appreciate you liking the live stream on the TikTok. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Jeff, do you go fishing? Not often. Not as often as I used to. I'll say that. What's up, FC Panthers boy? Appreciate you. Old school Panthers fans in the house. What's up? Well, that's kind of cool, Jeff. What's happening, Clay? Sup, chat. What's up, Shane? But Jeff, to your question, Lomax, you haven't missed anything, man. We're just getting right into it, brother. We're talking about the DJ Moore trade. Shout out to everybody on the TikTok. All right. What does this do? Oh, it filters your comments. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That shit is wild. TikTok is wild, man. If you've ever been on TikTok Live, it's wild. I'm still learning it. Carolina Blue over here is tapping it up. I appreciate it. My goodness. Appreciate you. That reunion makes sense, though, honestly. I honestly think I kind of almost see this like, Josh Allen's been compared to Cam Newton, which is kind of funny. So you got you got Josh Allen who's been compared to Cam Newton. People will say that Josh Allen's arm's better. It's hard to deny that, to be honest with you, because we know Josh Allen's probably got the strongest arm in the league, if not the strongest. But the reunion makes sense for Moore to move to Buffalo because it isn't just about the roster fit. It's about the familiarity. He gets reunited with Joe Brady, who served as Carolina's offensive coordinator during the only full season together in 2020. And Moore posted the highest yard per catch average of his career during that time. He averaged around 18.1 yards per reception. So the connection matters with Joe Brady, right? Brady understands DJ Moore's skill set. How he can win routes and how to use him in the pass game, right? That likely is going to play a huge role in Buffalo general manager Brandon Beane pulling the trigger on the deal, this is probably a real shot for the ring. Shine, what's good, bro? Appreciate you joining. A real shot at a ring. DJ Moore is going to get a real shot at a ring here, right? I mean, this might be the closest he gets with the Buffalo Bills. For Moore personally, this trade could be the best thing that happens to his career. Because if you look at what this guy has done across 8 NFL seasons, you think about the quarterbacks that he's been through. Okay? He's already accumulated over 8,000 yards. And then 41 career touchdowns. He is a long, and here's the thing, he's long been viewed as a borderline number 1 receiver because of the productivity, because of his reliability, the capability of taking over games when needed. But now he's rarely had a chance to compete for a championship. And now he's playing with Josh Allen, and that changes everything. And honestly, this is probably the best route for the Buffalo Bills because you're not going to get A.J. Brown. The compensation for A.J. Brown is astronomical. In my opinion, I think it's way too high. I don't know how the Eagles are going to move on from him. They're going to have to take a cheaper deal somewhere or cheaper trade. Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a connection with DJ Moore. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think so too. I think it's a match made in heaven. I like it because Allen is easily the most talented quarterback DJ Moore has worked with in the NFL. And if the Bills add a few defensive reinforcements and that offense clicks the way I expect it to, Buffalo will likely enter the 2026 season as a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Again, you put DJ Moore in a completely different position than he's been in for most of his career. And here's the thing. I know Curtis Samuel is going to be there, so there's that familiarity. Also with the fact that Shakir has basically been their number 1, but he's not a guy that can just take over a game. DJ Moore is a guy that can take over a game, and we've seen him do that. And Buffalo's just never had that wide receiver, probably since Stephon Diggs. But really, could we say that Stephon Diggs took over some games for Buffalo? I've seen James Cook take over more games than Stephon Diggs ever did in a Buffalo uniform. But he is one of the few bright spots during several difficult seasons here in Carolina. I just love the guy's effort. I love the consistency. I think he's a great professional. I think that's why a lot of fans loved him. So while his success won't directly impact us anymore, I still root for guys like that. Like same thing with CMC. I still root for them, except when we play against them, I don't root for them. But I like to see guys that used to play for us who are hell of a professionals outside the locker room, inside the locker room. I love that shit. But the trade definitely weakens the Bears in a little bit in the process, but that just adds a bonus. I mean, the second round pick, they're going to be able to replace DJ Moore with somebody. Because they can't rely on just Luther Burden and Colson Loveland, Cole Kmet, and Rome Odunze. They're definitely going to get a wide receiver now. They might try to get a wide receiver in the first round. They might. I don't know. They might wait till the second. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure what the Bears are going to do. Let me get to some of his comments in a second here. What up, Antonio? Matt, what's good? Is being shopped. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit. I'm actually going to talk about that tonight in a short, Matt. So make sure you tune in. Like, subscribe, comment, share the stream, please. Appreciate that, Antonio. DJ Moore out of here. Clay, you're on TikTok. Let me go. I like over there, too. Whoever Carolina Blue 2024 is, you're blowing it up, man. I appreciate you. Good God. You deserve an award for yourself. All-Pro, led the league in tackles 2024. Yep. DJ Moore says talent. There was a lot of mouths to feed on the Bears last season. Shout out to Clay. I can see Moore do well. Yep, on the outside with Shakir in the slot. Yep. DJ Moore to the Bills. I bet Moore is so happy now. I mean, Poppin, this is probably that guy's got a quarter chub right now. After he probably when he found out he got traded to Buffalo, that guy got a quarter chub. He was like, I'm gonna go play with Josh Allen. Sign me up. The Bears have 4 picks in the top 100. Broski, so does that mean they have other rookie wide receivers from last season, Jadir Walker as well? Can you imagine DJ Moore came back home with the weapons that we already have? I mean, Lomax would have been nice. I mean, I wouldn't have complained, obviously, for him to come back, but that's not the case. You know what I mean? Broski says Bears definitely signing wide receiver. So are you signing or are you going to draft one, you think, Broski? Just let me know in the comments. I'm not sure. I'm so happy the Saints. Oh, yeah. I commented on that today as well. I posted that up today as well. On X. Y'all got to follow me on X, man. I post up every day. Basically, I said, obviously, Cam Jordan. Okay. What's my name on TikTok? It's just Robstar92_. So the same thing you see here. Let me move the comments real quick out the way. See where it says on the bottom, bottom down here where Facebook and Instagram and all that? That's the same thing as my TikTok right there. All right. Yeah, but Papa, I said the same thing. Respect to Cam Jordan, a hell of a career. But as a Panthers fan, if he wants to continue that 16th season somewhere outside the NFC South, I fully support it. Let's not forget, this guy had his 15-year career, and he still had 10.5 sacks last season. It's crazy. Gray hair and all. Gray hair and all. What's up, Mr. Caw King? Trizzy, what's good? Appreciate you, SC Panthers boy. I don't know. Carolina Blue hasn't. He hasn't even left a comment. He's just tapping, man. Carolina Blue is just like, you know what? We're just gonna tap. We're not even gonna leave a comment. This is just what we're gonna do. I appreciate that, Carolina Blue, man. You're killing it, man. You are killing it. Appreciate that, SC Panthers boy. All right, let's move on. Let's get into some more Panther stuff. I want to talk about Devin Lloyd because I think this is a move. I think that how do you get Devin Lloyd Panthers and you bring up Deion Jones from 2023? Jesus. Obviously, don't be surprised. This is something that I was looking at the other day. Panthers on tap. Shout out to them. I'm trying to pull it up, though. I had it. Look at that. Who's that handsome guy right there, man? Talking about Devin Lloyd right there on February 3rd. All right. Back at it again. Let's see here. There was a post I was looking at. Okay. We can use this post. We'll use this one. This could be a move that could be lining up for the Panthers right here, chat. This could be a move that could be This is a massive move. The offseason plan isn't in hiding anymore for this team. Okay? They plan to be aggressive. I really think Dan Morgan's going to be aggressive, chat. All right? The NFL scouting combine is wrapped up. Now we're going to get into more draft content as time goes on. Okay. I appreciate that. Okay. I got you now. SC Panthers boy. Got you. All right. Cool. Got you. We got free agency approaching now. All right. So you got free agency approaching. All right. And I just think, in my mind, I think Dan Morgan is preparing to attack this market hard. All right, hard, full Chubb hard. Okay. Full Chubb hard. All right. Because think about it this way, chap. You got multiple roster holes, right? To address, particularly on the defense. The expectation around the league is that we could make at least one major move once that legal tampering period begins. Free agency officially opens March 9 at noon. Okay? So the Panthers are one of the teams to watch, if we're being honest. All right. And Morgan showed last offseason that he isn't afraid to spend when he believes the fit is right. Okay. First season, first season as GM, what does he do? Goes out, he signs Robert Hunt and guard Damian Lewis. We were in worse cap space then than we were last year or this year. Okay? But that's because of Brant Tillis is such a freaking mastermind on manipulating cap, working contracts, knows how to do it. It was all about rebuilding the trenches, and that's what they did. Let's not forget about last year. Had a strong push for Milton Williams. And that before that price tag climbed up, strong push. So then the focus shifts to defense again, specifically linebacker. Exactly, Ray. Exactly. Like if Carolina wants a true splash signing, this is your splash signing. Devin Lloyd. Jacksonville Jaguar linebacker Devin Lloyd. I know, Ray. I was imagining that last year when Milton and DB together. That would have been insane. I'm just telling you, I think Devin Lloyd's a guy to watch because he's a guy who's coming off like basically a massive season, just like Milton Williams was last year. Coming off a massive season that earned him a second-team All-Pro honors. This guy finished with 81 tackles and 5 interceptions while playing a major role in one, which was one of the league's best run defenses. So one of the biggest highlights of the season, if you go back and watch that Monday Night Football game against the Kansas City Chiefs, this man returned a 99-yard interception for a touchdown. One of the most memorable defensive plays of the year. Simply put, though, Devin Lloyd is that type of linebacker, is going to be that linebacker that every defense wants. That every defense wants. Shout out to everybody on the YouTube channel. We got 32 people on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up button. Everybody on X, make sure you drop a follow and hit the heart. I greatly appreciate that. Everybody on Facebook, make sure you drop a follow, like the live stream, as well as everybody on Twitch. Make sure you like and follow as well. And then, of course, on TikTok, just keep smashing my face in and drop a follow. I greatly appreciate that. That's all I ask. I don't want your money. I just want you guys to like and follow. Pop and come in with the damn bullshit already. Golly. Coming in here with that. Appreciate it. Luckily enough, I got me some last night from the wife. All right. Just saying, Pop. Just saying. Okay, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to leave it at that. But again, like Devin Lloyd brings that elite range, man. Like he's just that linebacker that's got the strong coverage ability. He's got sharp instincts. I think the versatility that he brings to blitz through interior gaps or off the edge, who plays with enough power to hold up and run fits, stop ball carriers in their tracks. That kind of complete skill set is exactly what the Panthers have been missing at linebacker since Luke Kuechly retired. Like, this is a guy, I'm not saying that Devin Lloyd's Luke Kuechly, but again, we just haven't ever replaced a linebacker. We've never replaced Luke Kuechly at all, even to the extent of Luke Kuechly. If you get Devin Lloyd, that is the closest guy you're going to get to maybe Luke Kuechly. Okay? But this guy's a turnover machine. He just wreaks havoc. See, Carolina's biggest defensive need is you can argue it, whether you want to say it's the edge rusher or the inside linebacker. You can say edge rushers 1A, linebackers 1B, whatever. All right. You can make whatever case you want. You can say the linebacker's the most glaring. You can say the edge rusher's most glaring. To me, I am such a big believer in the fact that a elite pass rush can make an average secondary look good. I'm such a big believer in that. Okay? So, again, when Christian Roseboom, who led the team in tackles last year, man. And when we're talking about Christian Roseboom, led us in tackles last year. And is headed to free agency. Let's not forget, you got Trevin Wallace, who's a former third-round pick, has had both of his NFL seasons cut short due to shoulder injuries, and hasn't fully secured his role moving forward. So that uncertainty has left us in a position where we may need to make a major move. I could see where Dan Morgan is just like, I'm ready to spend big to fix this issue. Right? I would not be surprised if we open our checkbook and for Lloyd or for Lloyd and maybe another one, or if they go for Lloyd and maybe a Caden Ellis or another top linebacker of the market, whoever. Caden Ellis is another one. Caden Ellis earned his first Pro Bowl and second All-Pro honors in 2025. And he's expected to command around $20 million per year on his next contract. And again, I understand that these price tags for these type of players, for a Devin Lloyd, aren't going to be cheap. You blending a player like Devin Lloyd isn't going to come cheap. Lloyd's projected market value sits around 3 years, $60.4 million, which again averaged just over $20 million per season. And we've already shown that they're willing to spend when the opportunity makes sense. Again, Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis, I have to reiterate this because I don't think a lot of people understand, is that let's not forget, last offseason, Morgan and Brant Tillis were willing to offer Milton Williams a significant deal early that offseason before the price tag climbed above what this team felt comfortable paying relatively to Derrick Brown's contract. A linebacker is probably going to be a different story because, see, cap flexibility can help us, right? Another factor is that works in our favor is how this market is evolving at other positions, right? The recent surge in center contracts are going to lead to our offensive lineman, Cade Mays, to receive a lucrative deal of his own. If that happens, it could free up flexibility elsewhere in the roster, right? So that extra financial breathing room could allow us to pursue a top defensive playmaker, okay? Now, again, I just think Devin, if Lloyd ends up being that move, it immediately changes our defense. It would step in as an instant. He would step in as an instant starter, likely to become one of the team's best defensive players. Finally gives Carolina that type of playmaker, linebacker they've lacked for years. And again, Dan Morgan has made it clear during that combine that the Panthers want to rebuild the trenches and strengthen the front seven. Fine. But I think free agency is where that process begins, because if we're truly want to make a statement, like if Dan Morgan really wants to make a statement, Devin Lloyd will be and should be the biggest move on our board. Make a statement. Wanum is, I think DJ Wanum is a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. Pat Jones is still here, though. I don't think so. I would not say Sadiq to Carolina. Pat Coogan would be a dream. I'm all about some Pat Coogan. Love me some Pat Coogan, Matty Matt. High on Pat Coogan. Black Man Drop Top says we need a fast linebacker because this 3-4 scheme is doo-doo. I mean, you're not wrong. Not wrong. I've always said that the 3-4 defense is not what it's all made out to be. I've always said that. It can be all it made out to be. As long as if, you had the right personnel and you set your players up for success. Sometimes that just doesn't fucking happen now, does it? I mean, Stratus said it. He said it. I didn't. He said it.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
I mean, he said it. DJ don't want him. DJ don't want him. I don't like the 3-4 either. Yeah, nobody does. Pat is okay. Nothing game-changing other than play. Here's the thing, man. Pat Jones, let's not forget, man. Pat Jones before let's not forget, but Pat Jones was cooking before he got injured. He looked way better than Wanum. The schedule deserved major players. I love that, Rob Blake. I love that. I love that. All right, let's move on. I'm going to talk about an interesting other person that I want badly. Odefi Awe is someone I want. Okay? Odefi Awe is somebody I want badly on this team. I've said it before. I've said it multiple times. I've said it before and I've said it multiple times. I don't think he's going to. Here's the thing. I've seen that where he's projected to sign a 4-year, $80 million. I don't know if that's going to be the case. We'll use this for now. I definitely always a guy that I want for an edge rusher. Like, Odefi Awe hitting the free agency opens the door, obviously. Wasn't franchise tagged by it, which means he can test the open market. That outcome, it wasn't exactly surprising because, the Chargers could still try to bring him back on a long-term deal. But as things stand now, Awe is expected to reach free agency. Once the legal tampering period opens, he's likely to have plenty of teams interested in him. And I think we should be one of them. And probably with Jesse Minter's system, he might be a Raven as well. I'm surprised that, you got the Bucks, Bengals, Raiders who are interested. I wouldn't be surprised if Jesse Minter and the Ravens up there try to go get him. He was Jesse Minter was the defensive coordinator there. I mean, but this kid showed real flashes after being traded to the Chargers this season. I know he finished the year with 7.5 sacks, but he was a disruptive piece in that defense, right? Here's the thing. What most of those numbers, when you go look at his numbers, what's more interesting about it is that he did it while only playing 50% of the defensive snaps. So imagine if he was getting 80 to 90%. In other words, there still may be another level to his game if he's given a bigger role somewhere else. That's where the Panthers could come into the picture, right? You still need that true difference maker off the edge. You've already made some investments in the pass rush recently, right? You traded up twice on day 2 to select Nick Scott and Princely Mamiyoung, both of whom have long-term potential as edge defenders. Then you still have Pat Jones II, who was actually doing pretty damn good before he got injured, who I think could factor into the rotation if he returns healthy after dealing with that back complication. And let's be honest, the potential is one thing, but a proven impact player is another. If we want to take a real step forward and push deep in the postseason, right? They still need someone who can consistently wreck plays off the edge. That's the kind of role Awe could fill. All right? I'm just being honest, man. This guy has a lot of potential. He's got a lot of upside to him. Again, he won't come cheap, of course, when he is the open market. I mean, again, it won't be the only team calling. Obviously, it says the Bucs, Bengals, and Raiders will have interest. Who knows, right? I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens have interest with Jesse Minter to bring him back. They got the athletic profile to obviously generate a lot of interest, though, right? But I looked up his market value. His market value, they're saying annually $20 million. It's $19.3 million per year is his market value. Okay, which would likely land him a deal worth to 3 years, 57. No, I actually just spoke about the DJ Moore trade not too long ago. Appreciate you joining, by the way. Thank you. That's not an elite, I mean, a 3-year, $57.9 million contract for a Defi Awe. It's not like that's elite tier money, edge rusher money. It's still a significant contract, especially for a team like us that currently has limited cap flexibility. But I think that there's going to be some moves happening. I think they're going to extend. I think that they're going to look into extending Damian Lewis and probably Damian Lewis and I would think maybe I don't know. I think they might even look into restructuring Derek Brown and J.C. Horn as well. But I know for a fact there's one more extension I can't remember that I was thinking of the other day. But I know I would look into extending Damian Lewis, and I would look to restructure Derek Brown and J.C. Horn. But that's just me. But you signing a guy like a Defi Awe would require the Panthers to clear that cap space and likely commit to him being one of the big offseason moves as well, right? And again, this fit makes a lot of sense to me because if you look at it from a football standpoint, chat, this guy checks every box that you're looking for. Because his ability to bend around the edge. All right, let's go back. I think I saw some film up here. Or maybe it was in here when I was doing it. Yeah, it looks like this is from Dunk. Dunk must have posted this not too long ago. Looks like it. Yep. I mean, here's Awe right here. chasing him down. All right. All the way over here. I'm circling it. Look, I mean, this is that type of impact right there. Something every defense looks for in a pass rusher. He plays strong effort against the run, consistently pursue plays across the field. Physically, he's built to play in a 3-4 defensive front, which fits the type of system that Carolina has been using throughout his career. All right. I can't show too much of it, so I'm going to back out. All right. But he's shown he can operate a 3-4 outside linebacker, which making the transition period seamless, right? I get that we can't spin everywhere, okay? But this might be worth it, right? I get that we have multiple areas to address on the roster. So the team realistically can make a ton of massive moves in free agency. They probably only have room for 1 or 2 major signings, but if they decide to go that route, give me a Defi Yahweh and give me Devin Lloyd. Those are my 2 major signings. Give me both of them. Because you're not spending too much on a Defi Yahweh. I know you're going to have a big spending, but a Defi Yahweh is not going to be, you're not going to sign Devin Lloyd and get a Trey Hendrickson. That's just not going to happen, right? You're either getting a Trey Hendrickson and then a Leo Chanel. If that. I'd rather go with the younger upside than a guy who's turning 31 years old at Trey Hendrickson. Again, if our front office is serious about fixing the linebacker just as much as he has said that he wants to fix the edge rushing room, which I'm talking about Dan Morgan because he has particularly talked about both, right? You got to make a move like this. This is one of the most logical targets, in my opinion, who's available because he's young, because he's explosive, he's still developing. That's exactly what type of player we've been looking for. He checks all the boxes. But you got to make that because once free agent opens, there's a good chance plenty of teams will be thinking about the same thing. I've heard, Trizzy, that they want Mac back, though. I've heard the Chargers really want to bring him back. Now, how true that is, I don't know. It's just a rumor. We should draft Akeem Messidor. Not opposed to that. Jalen Phillips could be, again, Jalen Phillips is a better fit to me. Trizzy, I'm fine with Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips is a better fit to me than Trey Hendrickson anyways in a 3-4 defense. Trey Hendrickson doesn't fit the 3-4 defense. You can use a Trey Hendrickson in a 3-4. But you have to maneuver him and only put him in certain plays, I feel like. You're not going to put Trey Hendrickson and drop him back into coverage as an outside linebacker. Like, you're just not going to do that. You can do that with a Defi Yahweh. You can do that with a Jalen Phillips at times. Trey Hendrickson's a guy whose hands has to be in the dirt. I can see the Bears signing Cade Mays. Broski, I could see that too, unfortunately. Because of your center, and to be honest with you, Broski, because of your center retiring, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. I see his face. I just can't think of his name. The center market has gone up because of that. Because now you got Linderbaum out there and you got Cade Mays. Cade Mays is looking to be paid like a top 7 center. You know what I mean? So what's going on, Leon Murray? Appreciate you joining. Keep pounding, brother. What's good with you? Guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We got over 103 people over here watching. Looks like we've got 57 on X. We got 45 on the YouTube. We got a couple on Facebook and a couple on Twitch. So shout out to you guys. Again, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, drop a follow, subscribe, and make sure you click the post notifications bell on YouTube so you don't miss any new content. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and also on TikTok. Here, Lock Mock Drafts is going to got us taking, Freeling. What's up, Chancellor Fapper? My guy, what's good? What's good? Speaking of Cade Mays, let's talk about it. Because that's been on my mind as well. Because there's a lot to talk about Cade Mays. There's a lot to talk about Cade Mays. All right. Luckily enough, Cade Mays was spotted hanging out with the boys. Shout out to Panthers on Tap for showing that. He's out there hanging out with the boys. All right. Shout out to that. But another team looking for a starting center. That's by Dean Jones. I think this is Cat Crave. We'll use this image for now. We're in a tricky decision with Cade Mays. This is a very, very, what up, Joshua? What up, Earl? This is a very particular situation. Very peculiar. But I think there's a backup plan, right? I think we're handling this how smart teams would usually do it. You let the market speak first. I think that Cade Mays is this, again, we're already suspecting that he's going to test the free agent market at this point. And I think Carolina would love to have him back. I think everybody here who's a Panthers fan would love to have Cade Mays back. But Dan Morgan has made it clear he's not interested in bidding against himself. If another team drives the price tag up, right, the Panthers are prepared to move on. If that happens, a replacement might be sitting on the roster, right? I'm not panicking about the center position as much as I am the edge rusher and the linebacker. Again, I think even though Mays is a fan favorite, I think he's a solid starter. But it doesn't seem like we're very desperate. Like, they've already invested heavily in this offensive line. You can't afford to overspend in one spot. And I think the plan right now is to see what Mays' market looks like and react accordingly, because after, he kind of revived himself here, right, following his stint in New York on the practice squad, then turned himself into a legitimate starter, which that kind of comeback story usually earns a player a payday most of the time. But a lot of league insiders believe he'll get plenty of interest. Like, there's several teams around the NFL that need a center, right? You got Baltimore. You got Chicago, which Brodsky mentioned, right? Detroit as well needs a center. Cleveland needs a center. That demand pushes major value, really, and it could push it to the point where we're not comfortable enough pay, right? So the market's very tight. But again, that, you know who it was, Broski? What was it? Drew Dahlman? Isn't that his name? The center. It is. I'm pretty sure it's Drew Dahlman, the center for Chicago that retired. I think that's his name. But again, his unexpected retirement after 5 seasons, I think it was 5 seasons in the league, something like that, right? His sudden exit removed a high-end option for a free agent pool. Another team searching for help in the middle of the offensive line. So that kind of shift matters, right? When supply drops, right? We're talking about supply and demand. When supply drops, demand rises. So guess what happens? Prices go up. That's the bad news for us if we're hoping to re-sign Mays at a reasonable number, right? So the top name expected to headline the center market, in my opinion, is probably going to be Tyler Lindenbaum, right? He could command $20 million per year or more. If that happens, it will reset the positions market and every other center, including Mays, for more expensive, right? Right now, I think Mays is. Some NFL insiders think that he's going to get paid worth up to $8 million per year. And then that puts us still like the $8 million per year, okay, puts us in that range. But if Tyler Linderbaum resets the market, that puts Cade Mays out of our comfort zone. And it's hard for me to imagine us offering him more than $8 million a year annually. If we're just being honest. It's hard for me to sit here and say that the Carolina Panthers would offer Cade Mays $8 million per year annually or more. Because I just don't see it. Because if that price climbs past that, our front office may simply, I could see them stepping aside and let another team write the check, right? Zaire Franklin led the league in tackles. Again, he could be an option too. I like Devin Lloyd just a little bit more. Maybe I'm being greedy on that. But if Mays leaves, then Carolina isn't starting from scratch. Because again, let's not forget, there's still some belief inside this organization. Let's not forget about our reserve center. I think a lot of people are forgetting about Nick Samac. That guy could develop into a legitimate option. Again, Samac was a 7th-round pick by Baltimore in 2024. He's currently a depth piece on our roster right now, but some within the Panthers think he deserves a real opportunity. Hell, you got Mike Kay. Mike Kay, I think there was like a losing streak or a win. No, it wasn't our losing streak. It was like a winning streak or whatever it was. Or every time he's in the starting lineup or he's on the field, Carolina wins or something like that. It was funny. That was going on all season, right? But again, for a guy like Samac, that doesn't mean that he's going to, he'll be, doesn't mean he'll be handed the job. Like, I think that, Dan Morgan would most certainly bring in competition through free agency or the draft, right? Pat Coogan, my guy out of Indiana. But Samac could absolutely factor in the question. I mean, not factor in the question, factor in the equation. Sorry. I misspoke there. Especially after another offseason of development. Like that has been a story before. We've all seen that story. Mace himself was considered a long shot before Carolina gave him another chance. Right? I mean, you get these guys more reps and you get them more coaching. He turns into a different player. These guys turn into a different player entirely. And maybe the team believes in Samac could follow a similar path. But again, the draft is also some real possibilities, right? Let's say Samac even if Samac is part of the plan, right? We're going to still evaluate the draft. The upcoming class is from my understanding, and at least, from the drafts I've done and looking at scouting reports and me putting some stuff together, like the upcoming class is pretty decent at center, right? So, and you can find a decent center, maybe even a starting caliber center day 3 or day 2, early day 3, right? Several prospects could fit, our needs. Like Auburn's Connor Liu, go look him up. Kansas State, Sam Heck. Both players are projected as potential starters with development. Pat Coogan out of Indiana. Because we're still trying to build our roster long term, right? Drafting a center on a rookie contract would be a financial smart move, if we're being honest. If we're being realistic with ourselves too, especially since Carolina already has one of the most expensive offensive lines. Ray, has Dan ever drafted offensive line? That's a good question. Did he draft Chandler Zavala? I don't think he did. Or maybe he did. I can't remember. I don't think he did. No, he didn't. No is the answer. So no, Ray is correct. No, he hasn't. Broski, who am I looking at inside linebacker? I mean, I want Sonny Styles, but that ain't happening. Realistically, if I can't get Sonny Styles, I want Jacob Rodriguez. I also like Kyle Lewis out of Pittsburgh. I also like Anthony Hill out of Texas. Anthony Hill Jr. I'm not the biggest Jake Golday fan, but I do like him. I think Jacob Rodriguez, though, is the guy for Carolina. Because he's even came out and he's already met with us, Broski, twice. And he's also said that he would love to play in Charlotte and that he models his game after Luke Kuechly and Matt Milano. He said both of their names. I would love Rodriguez. If I can't get Styles, give me at least Rodriguez. So, but this is, see, the Cade Mays thing, this is bigger than just one position because you here's the thing, you let Cade Mays walk, it wouldn't just be about replacing a center. Then the Panthers have other priorities. Like they need to continue building the defensive front seven. There are still long-term questions at both tackle spots on the offensive line, right? Spending big money at center would limit our flexibility elsewhere, right? Then you can't sign a Devin Lloyd, right? You can't, I don't know if you can get a Defi Awe. I don't know if you can get a Jalen Phillips. I don't know if you can get a Leo Chanel with that type of approach. Dan Morgan, I think Dan Morgan's approach just makes sense, right? You let Mays explore that market, let him evaluate the offers, decide if the match is worth it, right? If not, we pivot, right? Between Samac, the draft, some potential free agent options, maybe. You know, there's several paths forward as well. There's definitely several paths forward. Again, Cade Mays has been a popular player in Carolina for good reason. The physical style, the attitude fit the culture the Panthers want up front, right? Football decisions aren't sentimental though, guys. Like if another team decides he's worth a big contract, which several franchises could, I mean, we'll likely thank him for his contributions and move on. And if that happens, then we may discover our next starting center and was already in the building all along, or we go out and draft someone or find someone else in free agency, whatever, right? It's I don't think that obviously they're just not going to rock with Samac and be like, yeah, we're good. You know, they're not going to rock with a guy who was a 7th round pick and then, that they got and brought him over here, and then they'll be like, yeah, we're good. This guy can replace Cade Mays. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So, all right, let's get into the Jaylen Coker. Let's get into Jaylen Coker. Let's talk about that tendered contracts that he signed, I guess, yesterday. It was yesterday. Well, I guess it wasn't signed, but whatever you want to call it. Give me a second here. All right. So I tendered wide receiver Jalen Coker, Bryce Young. So let's just dive into this, right? Made the easiest first call. This is the easiest first call that this front office can make. I mean, free agency, begins next week. They did the same thing with Coker and Bryce and Jermaine. I mean, this isn't complicated, man. Like, it was just the bare minimum, right? You the tender keeps both players under the team control, prevents them from negotiating with other teams. Once the NFL's legal tampering window opens for Coker in particular, the move guarantees he's back in Carolina in 2026. Let's be clear. This doesn't answer the big question, which I'm going to try to help answer that tonight. Because the Panthers secured Coker for now. Whether they are willing to commit to him long-term is still very much undecided. Right? Because we made the obvious move. There really wasn't another option here, if we're being honest. Okay? Coker proved last season that he belongs. By the end of that last year, and especially during that playoff push, he established himself as the clear number 2 receiver opposite of Tyrone McMillan. He also built real chemistry with Bryce Young, which Young obviously trusts him. Right? So with Young trusted him in big moments, Coker responded. That's exactly what Carolina wanted to see after challenging him before the season to improve his conditioning, right? And overall physique. So he goes out, responds well enough that the Panthers felt comfortable moving on from Adam Thielen, who is ultimately traded back to Minnesota. So for a while, that decision looked justified. Then the injury showed up. He landed on the injury reserve shortly after and continued a frustrating trend. After first 2 seasons in the NFL, injuries have forced him to miss 12 games. The talent is obvious. For me, the problem still is with the durability isn't. Here's why I think Coker is not being rushed into an extension. A lot of Panthers fans expect a bigger announcement, right? Something longer than a 1-year tender. I get that. I've actually was saying I think he deserves an extension, but I had to kind of think to myself and kind of spit out some facts after I just said, in his 2 years here, he has missed 12 games. So, again, I think locking Coker into a long-term deal isn't at the top of Dan Morgan's to-do list right now. Okay? It's just not that big of a priority compared to other things, right? We're currently focused on creating cap flexibility, adding talent to key positions during free agency. Okay? I think I missed somebody's comment over here, so I apologize if I miss your comment over here on Facebook. I've got 4 platforms going on right here, or on TikTok. So if I miss your comment, I apologize. But again, that doesn't mean an extension won't happen. But I just think it means that it might have to wait until after the early waves of free agency settle down. And honestly, that approach makes sense. Waiting could get expensive, right? There's the risk Carolina, here's the risk that Carolina is taking. If Coker stays healthy and he keeps improving, the price to keep him isn't going down, it's going up. So, for example, the late season performance showed legitimate, right? Showed legitimate improvement. It showed legitimate growth. His route running improved by a lot. His timing with Young just looked natural. He developed a knack for showing up in high pressure situations. That combination alone is valuable. So if Coker just can put together a full healthy season while expanding his route tree and continue to build his frame, I mean, a true breakout year in 2026 isn't really unrealistic, right? Because at this point, right, the Panthers will will be paying a very different price tag. Like the good news is Carolina is that their cap situation can handle it, right? With McMillan and Xavier Legette still rookie contracts, the team has the financial flexibility in the receiver room. So even if Coker's market value jumps, we can still absorb it, right? But still always carry some risk, right? And it seems like Coker isn't worried about it either because you saw him hanging out with the guys the other day. Same thing with Cade Mays, right? Coker's perspective of the situation isn't complicated. Like he showed up, he does the work, and let everything else kind of just fall where it lies. Like that's just been his approach from the beginning. And him being an undrafted player, he's carved out a legitimate role here in this offense through steady development and quiet confidence, right? So again, the Panthers value that kind of mindset, right? The organization has made it clear that it likes rewarding its players who improve and prove they belong. And if Coker continues on his current trajectory, he'll almost certainly be next in line for that type of commitment. You know what I mean? So I think the real decision still will come. I think for now, Morgan made the easy move, and I think the Panthers kept a promising young receiver under the control and brought themselves time. I mean, that's exactly what exclusive rights tender is supposed to do, but eventually Carolina will have to make the bigger call, right? Like they can extend Coker late this offseason. That could wait until the 2026 season starts and negotiate during the year, or maybe they gamble on another full season of production before committing the real money. I mean, whatever route they choose, I think the one thing is already clear. Keeping Jalen Coker around for now was the obvious decision. I think the hardest one right now is deciding how valuable he really is on the franchise long term. I think that's what they're trying to figure out. And I think it's still to come. So we'll see. Jesus. So, Broski Bear coming in here, man. Coming in here hot. Appreciate you, Emery the G. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to you. I'm a Buccaneers fan. I'm glad y'all made the playoffs and had a better game than we would have against the Rams. Dang, some big news coming out, chat. Let's go look real quick. Gonna get some NFL content coming out to you. Tyler Higbee got re-signed on an 2-year, $8 million deal. The Bears are releasing Pro Bowl linebacker Tremaine Edmonds. Let's see what else we got out here. The Texans and the 5-time Pro Bowler Danielle Hunter are finalizing a 1-year, $40 million fully guaranteed extension. Danielle Hunter had 15 sacks last year and has 27 sacks in 2 years with the Houston Texans, and 114.5 in his decorated career. Damn. Gonna have to add that to the to-do list tonight when I make my NFL news roundup. So make sure you tune into that. I'll have my NFL news roundup tonight. We're going to talk about all the latest news around the NFL. So make sure you guys tune into that. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you like and follow on TikTok. Make sure you like and follow on X. Make sure you like and follow on Facebook and Twitch. All right. Appreciate you guys. Other than that, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow. I've got some more short content coming out. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And as always, y'all know what to do. I'm heading out. Keep pounding. Peace.